Hello everyone, David A. Cox here with PCClassesOnline.com, and today we are talking about Microsoft OneNote. It's a great little note-taking piece of software. If you're a student or if you're a business professional, I think you're going to like it. It's a competitor to Evernote, so if you haven't seen our class on Evernote, you may want to watch that one as well. And one of the things I'm really curious about is, if you don't mind when you're done watching the class, leave us a little note in the comments section. Which do you like better, Evernote or OneNote? Really curious to find out which. So I hope you enjoyed this class. One final note is that we actually did teach this class live, actually earlier today. And in the middle of a live class, and this is so much fun, and anyone out there who does live anything can relate to this. In the middle of a live sold-out class, Microsoft servers crashed. So basically, I was dead in the water, couldn't really do much when it came time to show people how to save content from the web onto OneNote. So I promised the whole class that I would work my butt off in the afternoon and basically lose my whole weekend in the process, but re-record the class so that all of you could see it later on. So I hope you enjoyed this class. If you don't mind, if you're watching us on YouTube, hitting that little thumbs up like button at the end, we really appreciate that too. So without any further ado, here is Microsoft OneNote. Hello everyone, welcome to the class. Today we're discussing Microsoft OneNote. Now OneNote is a competitor to another piece of software out there called Evernote. And there's some features that, frankly, Evernote does much better than Microsoft OneNote, and other features that Microsoft OneNote has that Evernote doesn't. So I'm going to show you what OneNote can offer you today. If you'd like to watch our class that we produced on Evernote, it's of course available on our website at PCClassesOnline.com. And at the end of this class, I'll give you my opinion. So if you don't already have a copy of OneNote, it's available for basically everything out there, whether you're on a Mac, a PC, iPhone, iPad, or Android device. If you're on a Mac and you want to download Microsoft OneNote, just go to the little Apple icon at the top left, go into the App Store, and you can use the little search bar here at the top right, type in the word OneNote, which by the way is one word, and it should be right here. In my case, it's the second item. Now, in order to use Microsoft OneNote, you do need to have a Microsoft account. If you don't have one, don't worry. When you install the software, it's going to prompt you and walk you through the different steps to get that. Basically, the way it works is it's going to take these notes and it's going to store them on Microsoft's cloud service. So none of this information is actually going to be on your computer. It's going to be in Microsoft servers somewhere. Your computer and your devices are just simply accessing it. What's nice about that is, if, God forbid, your computer is stolen, if you drop liquid on it, if something happens, you're safe, okay? All of this data is not actually on your computer. Now, they give you 15 gigabytes of data for free, which, when you're talking about notes, is a ton. But if you need more than that, if you are a Office 365 subscriber, you get 1 terabyte. Now, if you're on a PC and it did not come with your computer, do not fret. You can get it for free by going to OneNote.com and just click right here where it says Get OneNote for free. When you download it and install it, this is what it's going to look like. Now, when I taught our class on Evernote, the first thing I went over, and a lot of people seem to appreciate it, was I talked a little bit about hierarchy and how it works. That's what I'm going to do right now, just to try to keep this as consistent as possible. So on your computer, you have folders, and then maybe within those folders you have a subfolder. And for some of you out there, you might have another folder within that, and then you have your data, whether it's photos, documents, etc. Now, in Microsoft OneNote, here's how it works. On the very top level, if you look over here on the left-hand side, you have notebooks. And the notebook that is the first one here in the list is going to be the default one. So later on in the class, I'm going to show you how to take something like a website and save it directly into OneNote. Whichever notebook is at the top is going to be the default location. What was very interesting is I went onto Microsoft's website trying to find where they actually tell that to people about how to alter the default location. There's nothing there. So if you want to change the location, all you have to do, let's say I want David's notebook to be the place where this all goes to, just take this and, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to actually go there, and drag it and drop it into the number 1 position. And so then whenever I save data from the web, that's where it's going to go. Now, that's the top level. Let's go down one from there. I'm actually going to go here into recipes. And ignore this little pink tab for now. That's left over from when I was teaching this class earlier today. Okay, so below notebooks, okay, and not everyone is going to need this particular feature, we have section groups. So for me, under recipes, we have baking, better than sex, desserts, easy bake oven, and eggs and stuff. Clearly, this is my absolutely real account. No, it's not. So if you want to create a section group, the way you actually do it is you're going to right-click, or Mac users secondary click, anywhere in this gray space you see here towards the right-hand side of the screen, and you'll see we have two options here. We have the new section group and a new section. But as I mentioned, not everyone needs a section group. So let's just create actually I'm going to go here into another notebook that already has it, in business. And these tabs, these colorful tabs you see here, these are sections. And you'll notice there's a little plus symbol right here to the right-hand side of it. If you click on that, that will create a new section. So in this case right here in my example, we have employee reviews, and we have employee number 1, employee number 2, and employee number 3. Note that on the right-hand side, this is where you're going to find the different pages. So for those of you who are students, okay, this might be day 1 notes, day 2 notes, day 3 notes, etc. And then the different sections here could be your different classes, just as an example of how you could organize this data. Now, the software itself, I have found to be a little bit of a hybrid between Word, a little bit of Excel, and your kind of generic notepad app out there. So one of the features that I like that's a little different, and this part Evernote does not have, is that, in a traditional Word document, you just, click in and it starts typing your text over here on the left-hand side, and then you hit enter, and it bumps down. Well, one of the different features that makes this not quite like Word is you can actually double-click anywhere, and it's going to create a text box. And so I could put, but this employee has potential, okay? And if you ever want to move your notes around, it's as easy as just clicking this box here and dragging it. And you'll notice that as I kind of move it around my screen, it snaps so that it will fit into the different tabs. So it doesn't look messy, okay? Just helps when it comes to organizing, okay, if you need to move things around later on down the road. Now, as you do that, you might want to put in some tags, okay? So the tag options you'll see are up here at the top right-hand corner of the screen. And these are, again, another feature that OneNote has that you do not find in Evernote. And I'm going to, at this point, make a little recommendation. So for anyone out there, I'm floating this out there. If there's any Microsoft employees who might be watching this video, this is my official request. Tags should be searchable, because right now they're not. I always like to note the date. Today is August 23rd of 2014, and as of today's date, your tags are not searchable. Basically, all these things here is they're graphical. So let's say employee number 3 has this brilliant idea, okay? Kind of cool that you'd have a tag for an idea. So this employee has an idea to downsize, okay? Now, I want you to note something here. The word idea is not listed here, okay? It's the name of the tag. The name of the tag is called idea, but I just put the word downsize. In my opinion, I think that you should be able to click up here where it says search all notebooks and type in the word idea, okay? Note what happens. Nothing comes up. And the reason why I think that's really important is as you start to use this software more and more, okay, it's going to be hard to find things now and then. You're going to have to just do a search and hope that you find the location of it. So if there was a way to just kind of sort all of your brilliant ideas together, the only way you could do that would be to have the first word be the word idea. Okay, so now when I type it in, it pops up. So Microsoft, if you're watching, that's an official request. But you can add tags to the different things here. Just please understand, it really doesn't do anything to the information. You're just putting a graphic next to it. That's all it really does. Now, for anyone who cares about heading options here, some students, I find, like this feature here. You have your various heading options. Personally, I don't remember the last time I actually used them, but that's just me. Now, the next thing I want to do is show you how to insert some other things here into your documents as you're creating them. Now, up here next to where it says Home, we have the Insert tab. So you can insert things sort of like Excel. You can insert a table. Okay, so if I need a 3x2 table, I can kind of draw it out here, and it creates it. And all those different commands that you kind of expect within Excel, you have access to here. Also, you should note that when I created the table, I get an extra tab here for tables. So I can add rows, I can delete them, okay, I can highlight columns. All those options are right there. Also here under Insert, you can insert photos. So if you have an image, a JPEG, you can either drag it and drop it right into the document, or you can click in here and pull up a browser window and you can just navigate to wherever the graphic is and you'll have it there. Okay, I'll get rid of that for now. PDF printout, another option we have here, and file attachment. Now, it was to my understanding on Microsoft's own website that you could insert almost any kind of file. And I know you can insert documents. Okay, that's not a problem. So if I was to, collaborate with someone on this particular document, they could double click here and open up the Word document. It's not truly any file. And the reason why is I tried this on a Pages document, which theoretically shouldn't matter. It's just a file, and you get that. It won't work. So it's not any kind of file, but there are quite a few different formats that you can use. From other people that I've worked with, I've heard that Photoshop files do work. So for those of you out there who are photographers, something you might be interested in. You can also insert a link. You can insert a date and timestamp through two different options here. Okay. For viewing options here, we have another feature that when I taught this class live was not working the way it should, which has to do with lock protected sections. Okay. Now on the PC side, I've noticed it seems to work pretty fine, no problems here. On the Mac side, it hasn't been working quite the way that it should. So you can password protect sections, but note, you cannot password protect a notebook. So again, it goes back to that hierarchy thing. You cannot create a notebook of passwords, but you could create a notebook called personal data and then have a section called passwords, which you would then password protect. Okay, but for whatever reason I have not been able to determine, lock protected sections here is grayed out, including when you go into Home, go to Tags, and actually tag it as a, where did it go? Password. So theoretically I should be able to type in the word test, go over here to View and lock it. It's not doing it. So not quite sure why that is, but it's not quite working for me. Next thing I want to do is I want to give you a couple of little tips to really maximize your use for Microsoft OneNote. Now, as you're doing research, I'm going to use students here again as another reference. Sometimes you want to pull in data from the web. And in my own personal opinion, this is where Evernote takes the cake. And I'm going to show you how both pieces of software do it. So let's go over here to the web and let's actually forget about students. Let's say I'm, taking down my recipes. So I'm going to go to allrecipes.com, okay, very popular website. And let's say I see this great little recipe for a spinach roll-up, okay? Close the pop-up. So if I want to save this using OneNote, here's how you're going to do it. First thing you're going to do is go back to OneNote. Oops, sorry. OneNote.com. And this part here kept happening earlier also. Just sign out. Okay. So, see here on the slider that we have at the top of OneNote.com, we have this thing called the Clipper, which inevitably is out of reach whenever you want it. Here we go. Get Clipper. So what it wants you to do at this point, and this is, by the way, you do this on every web browser except Google Chrome. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. So you want to take this little icon and drag it and drop it up here into your bookmark bar. And you'll notice that I already have it right here. Now if you're on Google Chrome, it's a little bit like that, but you're going to go to the actual Google Chrome web store. You can just Google the term Chrome Web Store if you don't have a link to it. and when you're there, you're going to search in the store for OneNote. One thing to be careful of here, watch out for fake software. So I can't prove that this software right here is fake, but when I see something that's called something very similar to the real version and it has 1 star, to me that says fake software. So make sure you're downloading OneNote Clipper if you use Google Chrome. And in that case, you'll see the icon is up here at the top right corner of my screen. And on Safari, it's just a bookmark. So when you want to save the website to the web, just click here where it says Clip to OneNote. You'll have to sign in. I've actually already done it, or I thought I did. Sign in again. And it's going to save that page to whichever is your default notebook. So this is where I want to show you the difference between the two. So let's open up OneNote here. Okay, my default notebook, okay, right now is David's notebook. Waiting for that to sync over. Here we have the article that I pulled up before, and it just appeared here on the right hand side, spinach roll-ups. Okay, now look at how it kind of shows up here. You'll notice that the photo, okay, is there, but there's a lot of information here, probably more than I really need. Okay, here's how I do it with Evernote. Okay, so let's get out of that. See, with Evernote, you have their little software here where you have different versions that you can create to save to the cloud. So I have a simplified article version, so if I don't care about the graphics, this will help store, save on, the amount of data that this, of course, takes up. I can go to full page version, bookmark version, if I really just want the very, very core data, or I can even do a screenshot, okay? That is not something that you gain access to in OneNote. So there's some big differences there between the two pieces of software. The other part that should be noted is that if I were to do this in Evernote, okay, I don't want to do a screenshot, sorry, say I want to do the simplified article. See here it says future class ideas, okay? I can, without having to go into Evernote, I can change which notebook this saves to. So if I had recipes here, I could save it directly from the web into recipes. Whereas with OneNote, it just goes to whatever is first. So now in David's notebook, I have to now move this into recipes. And by the way you do that is just right-click on the page, and you can hit Move To, and you can tell it where to go. So I can say move this into Easy Bake Oven. Okay, oops, that's a group. We'll put it right there for now, just easier. Okay, so that's one difference where I think that Evernote really does take the cake. No pun intended, by the way. The next feature I would like to show you is how to link back and forth between documents. So let's say, let's go back to the business notebook here. Let's say that this employee number 3, had this brilliant idea one day, which we actually put in our notes for upcoming meetings, okay? So let's say this employee had an idea, and I'll just, for the hell of it, I'll tag it. So we'll say they had an idea to save on office supplies by buying online, okay? If I want to note, in this case, where that came from, here's one way that you could do it. So what I could do is click here, go up here to the File menu options, and one of them you'll notice here is Notebooks. And you'll notice here that under Notebooks we have that hierarchy. We have Notebooks, Sections, and Pages. So now what I can do is we're right now in a section, and I'm going to copy a link to this section. Now when I go back to Employee Reviews, I can just simply paste, okay, and oh, it looks like there's something here that this employee contributed that has to do with notes for the upcoming meeting, and there it is. Okay, so that's how you can link back and forth between notebooks, sections, and pages. The next feature I would like to show you is how to collaborate. Now, in this particular section, I think OneNote takes the cake. Okay, so if you have a document that you're working on here and you want to collaborate with other people, say within an office in this case. So if I want all of my employees to be able to contribute to this, there's a really easy way to do it. So you need to go to wherever it is you want. Then go to this little icon you see here at the very top corner of my screen. It looks like a human with a plus symbol. And you'll notice there's two options here. I can either email the page or I can get a sharing link. Personally, I think it's just easier to get a sharing link, especially since I'm going to probably send this to multiple people. So when I click on this arrow here, there's two more options. I can choose to allow the other employees to only view this or view and edit. In the case of this one, I probably want them to contribute, so we're going to do view and edit. So now what will happen is it's going to create a hyperlink that when someone goes to this link, and I can either click copy or email, we'll just hit copy, that if that person then goes to the web, goes to that website address, you'll see here that they will be able to access it and edit it. Okay, so now I can get in. It already has me signed in. That's why it looks a little bit different here. But you can have access to basically all the same tools. Okay, so for notes for upcoming, okay, it's all right there. You'll also notice that while we're here, with OneNote, you can go to OneNote.com and you can basically access everything. I can go in here to edit the notebook. I can edit it in Microsoft OneNote or online. So if I do that, okay, I have all my different tabs right here. I'm sorry, my different ribbons, rather, right here. Insert, view, okay, they're all right there. So that's a little bit about Microsoft OneNote. In conclusion to this class, I want to say, you know, they both have really good features. And the fact that they're both free, I think, is wonderful because these are the kind of tools that can definitely make business or schooling a lot easier. Okay, the fact that you can collaborate, that you can, you know, just really quickly get your information into your device and not really have it matter so much what device it is because, again, it's all stored in the cloud. Everyone out there is entitled to their own opinions. For me, I still like Evernote better. But you know what? I want to hear your opinion too. So if you enjoyed this class or if you want to leave your feedback, please feel free to leave a comment in the comments section. Just keep it nice. Okay? This is David A. Cox with PCClassesOnline.com. I hope you enjoyed this class and learned a lot. We'll see you next time. That's all, everyone. Take care.